and it is recorded as well.
Okay, awesome. So like, where can we find the record link in the future? Is it on the WisePass website?
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be on the WisePass YouTube page, on the WisePass Facebook page. You'll be able like just to watch it again, and we're going to be using like the well, social media basically just to boost, and then we'll talk about we'll share it to all the other people, and yeah, that's pretty much of it.
Do you plan to create an event like have someone else interview you?
I actually, as a matter of fact, I just did. So
Ah,
yeah, so that just happened. I think that last Sunday, or
mhm.
last Saturday, I was actually interviewed for 2 hours.
Wow.
So that I went through. It was very funny. Like we had so many things to talk about, and then I could go on, and sometimes even for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Um, it was like bits of stories. It's not really like chronological. It is more about like me going all over the place based on the questions that the interviewer would ask me. So sometimes the interviewer just want to ask me about this and that, and I just go with that.
Cool. Okay, excuse me for 30 seconds. I need to go out.
Yep,
I will be back in 30 seconds.
no problem.
All right.
We start having more people joining, which is
Yeah,
great.
4 p.m. now.
So just to let you know, like we'll just get more and more people in. So this is officially 4 p.m. We just got Brandon Lee who joined the founders talk. So if you'll find Brandon, I'm just gonna have to mute. Leonard Tan is joining as well. So we just got more people joining.
awesome.
Leonard is getting there. Okay, Leonard is here. I may actually start, and at the same time, there might be people like kicking in after that. It's just I'm gonna have like to handle like my own introduction. But anyway, like I'm just gonna officially start as it is 4 p.m. So welcome to the Founders Talk. This is our Founders Talk number. I think it's 6 already. And today, like we have the chance like to talk to Miss Thao Nguyen. She is a founder of Vietnamese Language Garden, and I had the chance like to know her, meet her in the past couple of years in Vietnam, and then we had the chance to reconnect just last well a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And then I believe that it is great just to have like a lot of different founders with different industries. And we talked about like travel tech, we talked about prop tech, we talk about like many different things. But I thought like there was one thing that never occurred to me, like why don't we talk about like something such as like learning Vietnamese? So that didn't occur to me. And Tao came and reached out, and then we thought that would be a great topic to discuss about. So this Founders Talk is going to be dedicated about Vietnamese Language Garden. And thanks for joining the talk today, Tao. You were muted, by the way. So okay, so go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you today. It's my name Thao. I'm the owner and founder of Vietnamese Language Garden since 2007. So it's my pleasure to arrange my time and have a chat and be interviewed by Mr. Lam Tran, WisePass. I know of him for several years, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. without further ado, maybe like let's get into that right away. And maybe the first thing we do is discuss about what is VLG. And then for me, like this is something where you're just teaching Vietnamese, right? But can you tell us more about the story, like how you guys started and how competitive the market is? Because like I remember I just made a mistake like a few weeks ago in some Facebook group. And yeah, I would love to know about that.
Okay, so let me start. Thank you, and Lam Tran for the introduce. So we actually start. It's a story since 2005 that I was the first year university student,
Mhm.
and my families we have a companies in hospitality and tourism, and I'm really inspired by my uncle who run the business, and the entrepreneur like mind is always make me his my always like admire, make me very admire about what he doing. And since I was a first year student, and I think like, oh, I need to come up with something like innovation and something like start my own career and my own startup business, because I got many different plans, and I was very encouraged by him about like establish a Vietnamese language school. Because at that time when I study, I see it was in 2005 when I see a lot of foreigner coming to Vietnam, and I don't see a lot of Vietnamese language school at that time. And I think like, well, what if I think I organize a Vietnamese language group like teaching Vietnamese for foreigner and see how's go. And there's a potential market as well. That I think it's only one university like University of Social Science that time offering Vietnamese group class for mostly is Korean customer, but I don't see any other customer at that time. And that's why I come up with the idea that I tell like 10, but why 10 of my classmates like, hey, this is my idea. So we cooperate and we do together, and we establish a Vietnamese language group. And then it was like 4 years after I graduate the business. I still do that business, but then after that I start to do other work as well. And through my work, I have a lot of different connection with different company and NGO, as well as the embassy and consulate in Ho Chi Minh City. And after like 2 or 3 years of uh, working, I decide to officially like invest all of my time and effort to establish Vietnamese Language Garden. I went to South America to study how the Spanish school in South America runs, how they do the one-on-one teaching, how they do the homestay, how they run the intensive program, how they interact with the student who come to their country and learn Spanish. Because I choose South America because like Peru, they is very famous for homestay and Spanish teachings for one-on-one. So I want to learn about their business and what they're doing. And then I bring it back to Vietnam and establish Vietnamese Language Garden, which that we only focus on one teaching private class for foreigner in Vietnam.
I have a question about that, especially for the Spanish class. Like, what is so special about like the Spanish way of teaching that language? Like, is there something very specific? Like, on my side, when I was speaking, learning English in France, it was all about like learning all the words by heart, know the how the grammar, all this kind of thing, and then just repeat after the teacher. But that's pretty much of it. And then you have to write. And what did you discover in South America? Is there something different or special?
Yeah, the teacher in South America, like the school that I attend to learn Spanish, they only teach for one class. So during the time they teach, they mostly just speak Spanish. They don't use any other language when they teach the student. And you at the beginning it's very difficult for you to follow up a little bit, but later on around like one starting with lesson number third, four, five, you start to be familiar with the sound, the pronunciations, and you start to understanding more and more. It helps you to increase your listening skill and your speaking skill a lot. Also, the difference of the Spanish school is that they arrange for you a homestay that you study in the classroom and then you go home and stay in the local Spanish family
Mm.
where you have to speak Spanish because the family they cannot speak any English with you, and it makes you always in your mind to be prepared at all. You in Peru you have to speak Spanish all the time, so you don't meet much people who can speak English in this case. So it's just like your immersive program that you really get into the culture and the language of the country.
I see.
What
So
I'm
the immersive experience, basically, like you just make sure like your whole time in the environment you're gonna move in or operate will just be like that language, or 99%,
yeah
9.999%, right?
yeah in few weeks you improve very fast.
Mm, I see. But then, how fast do you think like can you improve? Like, what if like I follow your Vietnamese class, and then like how fast can I reach like the level of Vietnamese that would make me like a native Vietnamese? What do you think?
I couldn't say that it's gonna make you become a native Vietnamese. It's gonna take a while, but I would say like you can be fluent in Vietnamese.
Mhm.
Uh, so normally we have some immersive intensive program around like 4 hours per day, 5 days per week from Monday to Friday, and then you study Vietnamese in class, and then sometimes we will have some offline like program that you can go out with our teacher to practice Vietnamese with local people at the bus station in the local market. And we have the homestay program as well, that after you study Vietnamese in the classroom, you can go home, stay in the Vietnamese family. Mostly we arrange a Vietnamese family who don't speak English a lot. So you have to you have to speak Vietnamese if you want to interact with them. And every evening we have they have like they provide a dinner, and you have to sit down and talk with the families and practice Vietnamese with them. I think that is a very interesting experience that the if you want to improve your Vietnamese
So,
quickly.
so basically, you went to South America. You pick up on the way they were like teaching Spanish by having this immersive experience. Then you do just reproduce it here, like in Vietnam.
Uh, I don't apply totally 100%. I have to adjust with the Vietnamese culture as well. The Vietnamese language is a little bit different with Spanish, because Spanish and French and Italian, sometimes you guys have the similar words like possible, possibly. So like if you can speak French, it's easy for you to speak Spanish in compared to Vietnamese. It's Asian language and it's tonal language, so it's going to be different. So we adjust a little bit in a way that we try to focus more on pronunciation when we teach Vietnamese, and we don't try to teach many new things when the client want to study. The first few lessons we try to focus on the tonal and pronunciations as much as possible until they reach to the level that they can pronounce words correctly. Because if they don't pronounce word correctly when they go out, even they can speak a lot of sentences and correct grammar, but nobody gonna understand them. And it's the more of the challenging in Vietnamese language that we have heard a lot of customers come to us and back their challenging in this.
Okay. So let's say if you were just selling this like this kind of immersive experience, kind of like for any foreigner in Vietnam right now, like what can you promise them? Like say like I got a guy who doesn't speak a word of Vietnamese, or I mean you may say like come on or phở or this kind of thing, but they doesn't it can't actually sustain a conversation, right? Like how much time? How much time would he need just to get like
Uh,
there?
yes. Okay. The first normally when I have a client come to me and ask me like, oh, what do you think? How long I gonna be fluent in Vietnamese, and how long I gonna be reached at a certain kind of level? I would say I want to hear about firstly about their goal, what they would like to achieve for in learning Vietnamese, well, for which purpose they want to study Vietnamese, for business or for their personal lifestyle or for any other reason. And I want to ask if they can speak any Asian languages or any foreign languages, because based on that choose perspective, it's going to affect a lot in their study plan. If they can speak some Asian languages like Chinese or Thai or South Korean, learning Vietnamese is going to be more faster. Otherwise, if English is the only language, then it's going to take longer times. So normally for foreigner who can speak like only English and want to improve it, want to reach like basic level of Vietnamese, in Vietnamese, like basic conversation, like talk to people, like order food, talk about transportations, and talk to people when they're going out for daily lifestyle. And I would recommend they study around like 60 to 80 hours. And I noticed a lot of foreigners, they're going to be very busy with their working schedule and they cannot follow the immersive programs. Then we also have the flexible package that they can study anytime they would like online, or or we can come to their office offer lesson for them. So, but at the beginning, I would say like you try to study as much as you can, and then when later on you can reduce it, because at the beginning you always want, when you want something, you feel like you have motivation and you want to study achieve as much as possible. But then later on, when you feel like you reach to a certain level, your motivation going to go down a little bit. So at the time you're going to reduce the lesson hour.
Okay. Because like I can see like the different motivation behind it. It could be like for business. It could be like for I know some guys that they really want to be able to live in Vietnam, but then they're limited by their communication skills because they only speak English, right? And in Vietnam, there's a lot of Vietnamese people, so it really helps like if you can really communicate and eventually find someone else. And also for dating, right? Like if you speak Vietnamese in Vietnam, that usually helps. That's actually one barrier off. There are many barriers though, but then that's one barrier off. And then, well, if there's a package for that, I'll be very interested to see the audience reacting on that matter. But anyway, okay, so like you guys actually, that's a story of like you went to South America and then you came back, you applied that kind of immersive experience, and then like so there's like this one-on-one. But then like when I went on your website, your business model, like you guys making money basically on the one-on-one, the private lessons, and then you get also some in-class lessons, if I understand well. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like how much money are we talking about?
Oh, when we say term of in class lesson, is still one-on-one class, but the difference is like instead of you study, we send a teacher you to your office to have a lesson, and you
So you
can
come to the class.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
This is different about location. There's nothing different about it. The teaching method.
Sure. So, what there was a lot of different packages when I was studying your business. But what would be like the main market for you, like for the people that would subscribe to your package?
Yeah, most of our customer have kind of expat who living in Vietnam. They working for companies. Some of companies, for example, like in a banking, in a real estate, in finance, or they are the consulate officer. Um, most of the reason that they choose their packet they study with us, because like sometimes they come to Vietnam and they have, but like the company in for example like in the US, they send them to come here to work. So the company have the pack that the companies will tell them like, oh, you need to learn the language for during 4 years or 3 years you live here, and here is the school that we have in our list, and that's us. And then they send us the customer, the client who study Vietnamese language. But the different thing about us compared to other language school is that we design the learning program based on the customer requirement and their need. We have some customer who are working in the bank, and he normally talk to the Vietnamese government officer, and or sometimes the prime minister as well. So we try to teach him a very formal Vietnamese in the field in banking, and how he appropriate behavior on how he should communicate with the prime minister or Vietnamese government officer. And we follow decided a lesson with him, and we are teaching him around like 2 years now, and his level at the moment is advanced level. And sometimes we also receive some now at the moment we do B2C mostly, and we have some contract with B2B, and but not so much, and we aim to target in the future to focus more on B2B when we have more corporate with organization like the consulate or the international multicultural firm in Ho Chi Minh City that can send an expat to Ho Chi Minh City yearly or quarterly, that we can cooperate with them and to train their employee in learning the Vietnamese language in business, both business and personal life.
Okay, but is it like going to be like all those expats? So if I understand well, that would be like those diplomats coming from all over the world and actually trying just to pick up the language because they're going to stay for it. And they could have maybe usually I remember like my parents were working for the French foreign ministry, right? So they have to stay for a contract from like 3 years that they get renewed, and then like it can last up to 6 years if I recall.
Yeah.
And after that, they may move to another country, right? So
yeah.
Well, that would make sense. So actually, the embassies or the consulate would be like the referral point for just to get customers. If I
and international community as well, and also the Vietnamese communities overseas with Vietnamese American, Vietnamese French. There's they also coming back to Vietnam to do a lot of investment, run their own business and stuff. So they want to learn Vietnamese language as well. We have a lot of Vietnamese overseas required for the Vietnamese lesson, that where they would like to understand more about Vietnamese culture and Vietnamese language, because they don't have much opportunity to speak Vietnamese or to practice Vietnamese during the time they're in their own country. So that's one of our client targets as well.
So I see. And well, because I happen to be maybe one of the potential customers, I guess 10 years ago, because like I was really trying just to see like how just to get the basics back, and then eventually not hanging out with French people, making sure I would just like push myself. It's very hard because like you have to do it all yourself, and then you have to be strongly motivated just to sit down and not understand what's going on, and actually feeling yourself like in a position where you won't be able like to pick up on everything, but then you still have to go with the flow for many days and weeks and months, if not years. And yeah,
we also have the client who are like living here in Vietnam for like 10 to 20 years, that have like a Vietnamese partner in Vietnam also to communicate with the fat people in the family. So learning Vietnamese is they're one of their goals as well. Or some foreign firm like business owner who are from the UK or Americas, Australia, that they're running a business here, but most of their clients are Vietnamese clients. So we'll be able to communicate more effective with them in business. That learning Vietnamese is the most important thing for them.
so let's say like if I were to ask you like 15 years ago and today, what's the biggest change in the business? Like what's the biggest move over you can actually do this?
In education, especially in the Vietnamese language teaching service, I have seen a lot of change. If before there's like 15 years ago, there's only like few foreigner around. I think not much in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, but nowadays, by on my research from Crunchbase, I can see like there's 83,000 foreigner in Ho Chi Minh City. This the number of foreigner coming to Vietnam, like I think like 5 or 6 times compared to 15 years ago. And there's a different I think there's more expert coming to Ho Chi Minh as well at the moment, because the country more open the economy and trading than more in the 15 years. At the same time, they also mean that like the market in education, especially in teaching Vietnamese, is going to be narrow a little bit because we have more competitors coming, and I will talk about this in the part of the challenges that we dealing.
So basically, the market is growing because like the country has actually welcomed many foreigners, many investments, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
And like new people trying just to get into the teaching business in Vietnamese teaching.
Yeah. Yes, but not everyone can actually can teach Vietnamese because they are Vietnamese. But so we at the school that we have the method and the way that plan that help you to study, that gonna have to save more time compared to like if you have a lot of joy in the market now, like everyone's gonna say like I can offer you Vietnamese lesson, I can offer you Vietnamese class, but you don't know that if the teaching qualification is good or not. You don't know like if they gonna explain for you things correctly or if it's gonna be like disaster. Because a lot of foreigner, a lot of clients come to us, like some of them learning with me before for somewhere else, for private teacher, for school or something like that, but like struggling with pronunciation because like they don't meet the right teacher with the right method and help them with correct pronunciation, and at the result they can speak a lot of sentences but they can't pronounce the word correctly. It's not helpful for them to speak Vietnamese in daily conversation, and it makes them feel dismotivated and they feel like Vietnamese language is difficult. But reality, if you need to find the experienced teacher with the right method at the beginning to help you with pronunciations, and then you build your level higher from there. That's why we also offer free trial lesson at our campus. So beside the free trial lesson, I will sit down with them to discuss about their plan in learning and what should we do, what can we do to build up the suitable learning program for them to develop their Vietnamese language skill in the future.
Okay, it's like I understand like there's like a factor in your business, like it is hard to control, which is like the motivation of the person, which is actually maybe different and so various. How do you deal with the drop in motivation, or can you figure out a way just to motivate the person, or is it something like it's totally out of your control, or what? How do you deal with that?
So we have like a team called customer relationship teams that like mostly it's me and my assistant actually. Like we follow up the customer, and every month we would like to check to see like where they learning state are going. We check with that teacher and they have to report to us like if the student or the client have any improvement, and then at the end of each course, in the middle of each course, we have the test to evaluate their level, and sometimes we send them the email to update to them like, oh, where's your level at, and we ask like if they anything which we would like to like we give them some recommendation in study, or we arrange a meeting to meet them to see in the end the way that we can help them to improve their learning better.
Okay.
Also, we're running many events to engage the client with the learning activities. Sometimes we have like it's very different type of event like hiking, running, or go karting, or cooking, or street food event that like everyone can go and practice with real local, so they don't feel like they just study in the classroom and they just meet the teacher and people around that they know to practice Vietnamese. They feel like they engage with us, as teacher, and they feel like they can practice and apply what they learn. When people feel like they can use what they study, they can apply what they learn, they will feel like more motivated and excited to learn more.
So actually, like application of what you learn in the class or whatever lessons will increase engagement and then motivation for learning even more, I guess. I guess.
Yes, and building relationship with the client make them feel warm, happy, and close to you, and more comfortable. When you reach that level, then they will share their thoughts about the lesson, about the teaching qualities, that very useful information that you can receive and then improve and adjust the program better for them.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see like definitely if you can learn something in theory and actually start to applying it in real life, and actually getting some very like outcome that is really like valuable, then this is when like there's a huge win, because like people will be like, okay, yeah, so I can actually
Yeah.
practice all the stuff, or my investment and my time in education will, because it's pretty similar to the to say that the business model for like schools in France, maybe like in other countries as well, it's the same. But then I can see them trying to convince us the following, where if you go to the business school and if you practice like very hard for the first 2 years, then you get into the system where roughly you're gonna make a between like 35 to let's say 45,000 euros a year, and you will be able, and your investment is at that time 7,000 euros a year. So if you study for like 3 years, that's 21,000. But then within a year only, all the income you get because of our degree will actually see that how your investment or your financial investment is valuable. So they talk about that, but then they talk also more about like the human experience, the fact that you'll be like in a network, the fact that you'll be able like to go from an exchange. So I can see like some similarities like for the education business, like it's really about like what the people will learn, but what they will eventually get in the future. So it's an investment for their future. And then like that's great, but then in the meantime, like during those years of investment, like will it be fun as well? Because like as a human being, you just don't want to be like getting the data in your mind and just say, okay, I know how to pronounce the sentence. Well, that's it. Okay, so hopefully that's something useful. And then the engagement level is just getting higher and higher. Okay. We're going to move to the next one, because that's going to be a little bit grimmer now. Challenges. So I talked about motivation, but I wanted to wait that slide just to ask about like, you've been doing that business for over 10 years. That's a very long amount of time. And my question to you is actually, what's the toughest thing like you have to face in that kind of industry? Like you, because like when I think about like education, about like teaching people, I can't imagine there's like a crazy thing happening. Like people come, you teach, it may go wrong because they're not happy or something like that. But then, what kind of like challenge is it? Like the people you're, or is it going to be like finding your customers, or is it like is it something else?
Yeah. In terms of finding the customer, I wouldn't say that's a challenge, because I think that we are good at that. But in terms of like people and human management, that's I think is the more challenging thing that we currently facing with. Is the intellectual properties, the IPs, that we have been trained a lot of Vietnamese language teachers over years, around I think around like from 200 to 300 language teachers. And the challenge we have facing with like some of our employees that they separate out and they establish their own career, their own language group that teaching Vietnamese for foreigner. That you might see a lot of Vietnamese language group at the moment in the market, that while some of them are coming from directly from our former employees, that they kind of like bringing our teaching methods and material out and apply it for their own study, their own teachings. And some of our employees also bring our customer or client database out to market and reach out to the client. And yeah, but it's very hard for us, especially in Vietnam, to control this kind of issue about like employing going out and checking the document or our properties and to the market and apply it. And another challenge is that we also met is like the most of our teams is also very young professional dynamic teams. The thing is like our client mostly at the managing level. Sometimes our teacher even they very experienced, but because like they look kind of like young, so when they going out to teaching Vietnamese for a lot, so some certain type like client, the customer also being questioned how much experience our teachers have, and if they well trained or not, and if they understand enough of knowledge to teach the client. So it at the beginning it takes us a while to persuade the client that the teaching quality is very good, despite of that some of our teacher might look like young. So the age doesn't matter in this situation.
I have a question about like the obstacles about, let's say, the league, the database, or like your own teachers like separating themselves. Like, do you have a way to address that over the years, or do you just accept it, or do you find a way just to say, okay, they're gonna go anyway, so because of that, we're gonna acknowledge and actually create an exit program, and that's okay, or
Uh,
how do you handle
yeah, we try to sign a contract with more tight term and requirement, and for them to keep the information confidential. And we also try to separate the tasks for employees like differently. Like the one who managed the client database will not going to involve to any activity or anything in related to teaching or anything about the teachings. And the one who doing in sales is not gonna meet or interact with anybody in at the Vietnamese teacher, or the one of Vietnamese teacher will not able to connect with the Vietnamese with the client directly, but they have to connect through someone else at the third channel, not directly communication. And we also try our best to like follow up and build a relationship with our customer, so like they can feel close to us and trust our service compared to only individual teachings. Actually, we have very good client relationship. That some of them sometimes they also inform us like, hey, your one of your former staff used to tell me about like study separate with him or her, but I still choose to stick with your language school. So we really appreciate their thought and their sharing their story with us regarding the situation.
Okay. And because like from my standpoint, like it's going to be hard just to not actually, it's just something difficult just to make it like a monopoly, like teaching Vietnamese, and then especially the own people that you've been like hiring just to do that, and then they will try to do this themselves. And because like in tech, basically, like when we discuss about some cases, the one about Uber and Grab, It was really about like it's both business doing the same thing where you just tap on the button so you can actually just get it right, right? And then the question was more like how can you execute the best? So like the market will follow you by providing the best reliable service. So it's eventually about the product, about the system, about the process, about like the amount of drivers, the amount of customers using the app, and then the amount of capital, of course, in the case of this business. So that's what I was wondering about. Like, can you grow to some point where VLG is gonna be like, let's say, 10 times bigger, and then like one teacher or two teachers or 10 teachers, they'll try just to copy you because they know they have the knowledge, but it's really hard, like just to build a really strong, reliable, consistent
Yeah.
operations. So they can realize after that it's not just about like you teach to the person, but it's all about like just getting the person, getting like to the paperwork and actually onboarding them. Even though like they may get a few customers for a cheaper price, like eventually, like if you are a legitimate business that has been doing this for over 10 years, then you are going to be able like just to outcompete like the people that will try to compete with price only. So I guess yeah, the education business is also like very, very, very competitive, huh? Because
Yes. Yeah. When like every time we come up with a new marketing idea that we pop up is on Google ad or Facebook ad or anything like that, then later on
you get copied.
someone gonna copy our idea immediately. You can see everywhere like this. So, but it's good that our idea is smarter that everyone like us and they're gonna copy us. So
Good.
I think that's a positive thing.
Well, you can take it that way. I'll be pissed. But then the thing is like if they start to copy you, then that's a sign. It's like your reference now. And then but then you still got to move forward and figure out a way just to differentiate. Just one thing I can share with you is at WisePass, the way we look at things from the business standpoint is that every move I'm making every year now has to be like based on differentiation, which is like how will my decision change the business? And this is pretty much like how like it helps us to make things very difficult for people just to come over and just say, okay, we'll do the same right away. Because like every time we move forward, like we invent something new, and then 3 months or 6 months later, like when we execute that, something else is gonna pop up as well. So we'll talk about this over a drink, I guess.
Thank you. And yeah, I think we need always need to innovate ourselves and always moving forward and changing to something else new, like all the time update the new things. So even you can copy things at the beginning, but you cannot like catch up or follow up in the future.
Definitely. Okay, let's get to the next slide. So you might have answered like a little bit of that partially about the marketing, about like how can you find the customer or the right customers, I would say. But the ones that is willing to pay the price you set, because like in Vietnam, like this is a market which is very price sensitive. So how do you price the package that you already have and make sure like this is gonna be a great fit? And from the previous answers, I understand that you get the customers from the embassies, yeah, so the business and the diplomats, and then from the VQ, of course.
Yeah.
How do you reach those guys? Or those guys like people? Yeah.
Okay. At the beginning, when I established this business, mostly it would come from my networking and my connection with people, and for a while when I running a business, we customers who have long with us, they're very happy with our service, so they recommend to new customer as well as that. So when you have the referral from someone else and like your friends learn some you the service, they're very happy with it, they recommend it to you. Of course, if your friend happy with this and your friend is gonna be the one that who is your friend is not going to do anything to harm you or recommend to you the bad thing. So when you have a referral like that, it's very priceless with us. Is people just feel like, oh, my friend loved your school and they recommend us, or my business partner recommend you for us. So we would like to experience and learn your service, and like they have the good impression at the beginning, so they happy to go and go with us. So day by day we establish a list of very happy clients that they refer a lot to us, as well as we also have a good business relationship with a lot of business associations like CamCham, AmCham, and NoChams and other business associations that they very happy to recommend us to their friends, their family, their customer. For the customer that haven't know us, then the selling point is very important. That when the customer contact to you and then they ask you about the price, what difference between your school and the other school, then no, I'm very happy to sit down with them and like discuss with them about the study program and exchanging information. And we also offer for them the free trial lesson for them to study, to see, to experience our teaching service, to see if their style, the teaching style match with what they expect or not. And we also run a lot of free seminar and event where the potential customer can meet with our current client in during the event, talking to each other. So it's kind of like the marketing in an indirect way that people feel happy, and they say, hey, I'm studying here and I'm very happy with that. So when people come, they see that, and yeah, they very happy to sign up for the course.
I see. So for those seminars, like you're running some events where it's like very top. There's a topic focus on something else, like during a seminar.
Yeah, we don't always run the event about learning Vietnamese, because sometimes it makes the topic very dry and it's very like direct marketing. We do something like some talk about you about like business, doing business with Vietnamese people, or going out and have a barbecue event, or going out and play together in the rock climbing or hiking. So like the during the time we create a time frame around like 2 hours, at least 1.5 or 2 hours, where people can meet up and really have things to do together and talk to each other.
Okay.
At that point, the people will recommend, or they're gonna expect the idea, or they're gonna say, oh, how you know about this school, and come here and join. Like the communication gonna the talk gonna come up relate to us anyway. So we don't need to really stress out about like running about Vietnamese language or something like that, like other places.
Great. So that's good, because like that might actually be one of the key ways for us in the future to have a discussion for events. So that's marketing. And then I see like, because like, yeah, it's really different from like the other discussions I had in the past, where like a lot of people are talking about like Facebook ads, about like TikTok ads, about like email marketing, and so on and so on. Yours is really like human focused. Like I like to hear about the fact that you have all those relationships, and then actually there's a referral, they recommend you, then you can take them and onboard them step by step, and then with a free trial, then you get there and they might be happy just to jump in the bandwagon.
We also do Google ads, Facebook ads, and many other ads, like many different companies. But I think I want to mention some things like what's different a little bit of us in there and others.
So there's still there. So I was actually kind of afraid somewhat. Anyway, so that's marketing. I want to hear also like, that's the last slide, by the way. And how does you plan to grow that business now in the next 18 months at least? I said like 18 months because like, well, I guess we have to talk about that, right? Because like since COVID-19 is around here for quite some time now, since I think officially since March this year, and Vietnam has shut down the borders. Vietnam is still a place where a lot of businesses will come and establish themselves. So I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. It's just slowing down. But how do you embrace the situation?
Yeah, Okay, so I must say like in the next 18 months. Okay, so you might know about the COVID-19 going on now, and Vietnam is also open its border only for expert and investor who come in Vietnam, and we have a lot of our clients stuck in the United States and other country at the moment, and in the US, the people will not come back to work until next August or September. So everybody up there for a while based on my information I got. So the situation, I don't think it's going to be good until end of next year. Even though you might have the vaccination, maybe in January or March, but the situation now is very unstable, unpredictable. So I might say from now until end of next year, we might just focus on the Vietnam market at the moment, and try our best to focus more on like B2B instead of B2C, and try to push our business coming back to normal as much as possible, because like during the COVID-19 we affect like around like a lot by the number of clients of us is declined because our clients stuck overseas a lot and haven't come back to Vietnam. I don't think they gonna go back until next year around like March or even December and January. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's especially our client, mostly we depend, our market depend on a lot on foreign market, not like other industry.
Because but you're not relying on tourism, right? So those are more people coming and living in Vietnam.
Yeah, we not rely in tourism, but there is a lot of client of us are permanent resident Vietnam, like foreigner but permanent resident in Vietnam. They cannot enter to the country at the moment, and they have to stay in overseas, like in the US, in Australia, in France, and cannot get in because they don't actually the expert or investor then they cannot get in here very easy. Some of them are like a reporter, or some of them are like working for like digital online they have the online companies. Yeah, so some kind of job like they cannot get any sponsor back to Vietnam.
Well, I think I have to agree with you. Like it's gonna be like this by until the end of 2021, actually, because like I understood that from my family members, like working in the labs, like they have to wait for the clinical trial. It's gonna take a lot of time before you just get there. So just like to let you know, like this is how I actually, as a founder, I actually handle the business. I'm actually assuming that things going to be wrong like this for 18 months. Like that's not going to change. If things get better, great. But then we assume that things won't get better anytime soon. And
yeah.
Based on that, like what do you devise as a strategy just to move forward and actually cope with the situation and still somewhat stay relevant to the market? That has definitely changed, because like I've been back for a month now, and then I see the hospitality industry is really getting hit hard, and then the hotels, all the resorts basically across Vietnam are actually way down compared to last year. Some already basically just stopped their operations, and the tour guides, I guess I don't have to talk much about them, but they just found other jobs, and it's really like the market is shifting quickly because the demand is totally different now, and a previous demand is actually cut off, and now like there's a new demand like Zoom basically, right? I never was a guy like using Zoom maybe like 6 months ago, and I realized like now I became a customer, and then we can do this founder stuff for now like for the past 6 months now. So that's pretty good. But then I guess like if you can adapt the business so you can keep growing the business, that would be great.
Yeah, we do run on a lot of online lessons for our client who stuck in our overseas now, and we might plan to expand further to not in Vietnamese market anymore, but we switch to more like in the U.S. market in California, where they have a lot of Vietnamese community living there, and the young generation cannot speak Vietnamese. So we try to based on our connection and people we know there and marketing stuff. We try to reach them and have more online lesson in the future. We also plan to have to build our it's like a podcast that people can learn Vietnamese through that. And yeah, that's what I'm currently working with the team at the moment. And we hope we're going to launch it soon in the next 6 to 8 months in the future.
Okay. For content marketing, I definitely believe that if you're able to do so, then it's going to be something like people can just like come and pick up. It's reusable, and people can you can get like new potential leads, or actually they become like referrals and talk to their friends and family members. So, okay. So we have like Brandon, Jacob, Leonard, Nico, Robin, Joe, I guess, that actually join. And then like you guys can feel free just to chat or ask any questions. If not, then I'm gonna finalize very soon the founder stuff because it's from 4 to 5, and just want to make sure we're on time. And then we are 5 minutes before 5 p.m. So you guys can go crazy. In the meantime, like, do you? I will ask my another question. Like, do you have like this like learning experience? Like, did you tweak it over the years? Like, you took the Spanish one and then you applied it here, and then a year, and then maybe like 2010 and 2015 and then 2020. Like, what was different like over the years? Like, what have you done like as a significant change to improve the learning experience from the students?
Yeah, I think during the year we start to modify our learning program in a more practical way that adapt the client requirement more. Before we like at the beginning we focus too much on theory and the academic language, but nowadays based on the customer demand and what we observe from what they really want to, we adjust the learning program in the way that people learn, and they like practical language that they can in Vietnamese that they can practice right away. Mostly in most of Vietnamese language, you see in the book, it's very I kind of say like it's a little bit unpractical, because in reality we don't say it. For example, like in some Vietnamese book they teach you like how are you today, but reality is when Vietnamese people meet, they don't ask you how are you today. They ask you how things going, how is your family, how is your work. They don't ask how are you, but some of the book gonna teach you like that, and the vocabulary in some of the book is kind of tend to be like very northern. Say way that in the South people don't really actually say like this. So we building up slowly, step by step, our learning program more practical based on the Southern accent and based on the way that we actually say. For example, like you and me, when we talk, like I say am and you say an, but in some book they just did the word tôi. That means I and you equal. Vietnamese people don't say I and you equal. They have different way to say younger brother, sister, and elder brother. So that's the kind of way like we adjust the program and teach our customer that they feel like everything they learn, they talk. Vietnamese people say, oh yeah, your Vietnamese is good because like it's really like real Vietnamese, not like oh bạn có khỏe không, like how are you, like in the book. And
that's usually weird to say that. I mean, like that's like the non, yeah. But that I can see like the hierarchy level in Vietnamese, and how like it is emotional in a way where you can use like those things, like people will start just to call each other an and em, but also like sometimes like some woman or some men, if they're being called chị. So this is when it's like the end of the world, right? Because like what? Why you call me chị? I don't want you to call me chị.
yeah, that's what we tell the client as well. Like oh. They ask like, oh, I don't know, like you guys look like female. What when I meet a female, what should I say? What should I say, chị or em? I said like, always tell the lady M because make her feel like she's younger than you. She's really happy about that. So never call lady EJ unless she really, really like at the like your grandmom, and you can call her a go or something. But normally you just decide to call her M. So we did some tips in communication as well as like culture things like, oh, when you visit a Vietnamese family, you should take off your shoe. You don't wear your shoe into the Vietnamese family, something like that. And oh, when you have a meal with me family, you have to say, oh, good appetite. I wish you have a good meal. Like you say it because Vietnamese people always say like, oh, have a nice meal, chúc ăn ngon miệng before they start to eat the food at the table. So we teach them a little bit of tip like that. So it makes them like some of our clients say like some Vietnamese people start to talk to them a lot of Vietnamese back right after he just say few sentences in Vietnamese because the way he communicates is very like in the local way that make people say, oh, that man must stay in Vietnam for a long time. He know how to say the sentence very perfect and local. But actually he just learning for like a few weeks and then he stopped because like people started to respond to him in Vietnamese too much and he cannot answer that. But he still happy because people understand him and
that's the result, right? That's the result. But I feel like this is like deeply ingrained in the culture about the this thing. Because like I remember when I was the head of marketing of Tiki, so that was like 7 years ago. I got like a teenager like going all the way to the office of Tiki because like she purchased a book. But then like she said like, okay, I'll purchase a book and all this kind of thing. But what was like shocking me at that time was like I was only 30. Well, not even 30, but actually let's say around 30 years old. And then she was calling me blah 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 blah, and then Ju. And then like that shocked me. I was like, what the hell? Because like I am not that old, and then all this kind of thing. But then like you're just like only 15 years older than me, maybe. You know? But then like you it hits you, and the language, and this is really like when you start just to get in the culture, and you actually can really wear it and really feel, go and live with it. And that's actually a big win actually. And this is really like when you part of the country and then you start just to, there's food for me, there's language, of course, that's all the people you're going to interact with. And this is like very interesting because you can get into so many languages. Last question for you, and it's about yourself. You went to South America to learn about the Spanish teaching system. Do you actually speak Spanish, and how many languages do you speak?
I can speak a little bit. I used to speak a lot of Spanish 10 years ago, but then at the moment I can only speak a little bit. I can also speak Korean and fluent in English and native speaker in Vietnamese.
I guess. I hope so. All right. So this is, it's 5 p.m. now. So Thao, I'd like to thank you very much for this founder talk today, and it was really instructive, and we could learn a lot of things about your company, but from a very different perspective. So I appreciate that you could actually share a lot of things like this, and then there's like Jacob. Sorry, Jacob. And then we are hopefully like we'll be able like to catch each other like in the next few days, so we can discuss more about like what VLG and WisePass can do together. Guys, thank you for joining the Founders Talk. You'll be able, as usual, just to find the talk on Facebook and the YouTube WisePass page, and have a very good weekend.
Thank you everyone for spending your time and have the talk. Have joined our conversation today. I really appreciate it. And if you ever decided want to have with me lesson, then there you go. I'm here.
You can always contact Thao, and then feel free just to send us a message on our Facebook page or the Facebook page of VLG. Someone else has been okay. Jacob was just saying thank you and bye everyone. Great interview. It's good. Great feedback. All right, so I'm just gonna stop the share and I'm gonna have to end the meeting officially. Have a great day, guys.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Bye bye. Have a nice weekend. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.